Okay. All right, welcome everybody to Texas Jewish Arts Association. Thank you for joining us today. I am Nan Phillips, president of Texas Jewish Arts, and we are a nonprofit organization for the visual and performing artists, creatives of all sort, and art supporters. We're based predominantly in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Our organization believes that combining, supporting, and learning about different forms of art enhances and enriches the lives of artists and audiences alike. With our programming, we try to bring information about different aspects of the arts to our members and to the public to expand our knowledge and our horizons. Even though TJAA is a Jewish organization, membership is open to any and all who wish to join. We are currently seeking new members along with volunteers for various positions. Our main need currently is for someone to help with social media. So if you or someone you know would like to volunteer, please let me know. The Jewish people believe in the principle of tikkun olam, or the work of repairing the world. Aurora Dallas is a nonprofit organization which helps and supports local artists, and we are happy to bring you this presentation so you can learn about the work that they are doing. Our program has been brought to you today by board member Kim Court. Thank you again for joining us. And Kim, I will let you introduce Joshua King.
Thanks, Nan. I appreciate that very much. We're excited to have everybody here today. And we're excited to have Joshua King talk today about Aurora. A little bit about Aurora. Dallas is a Dallas-based public arts organization working at the intersection of art, technology, and community that presents work by the most visionary artists of our time. Through the Aurora Biennial Exhibition, Aurora Expanded Program, and Aurora Artist Relief Fund, the organization engages with both regional and international audiences alike. In 2020, in light of the significant impact of COVID-19, Aurora announced the development of new initiatives to create more opportunities and resources for Dallas artistic community and public. Such initiatives include a transition from the presentation of a single large-scale biennial event to a year-round series of site-specific installations, special events, social gatherings, and educational programming, as well as the launch of an emergency artist relief fund. I want to take too much time to read this because I want Joshua to be able to go into more in-depth detail. And with that, I introduce Joshua King from Aurora. Thanks for being here.
I appreciate it very much, y'all. Thank you very much for joining me today and having me speak with your organization. So I'm going to start by sharing my screen, and then I'll go through a little presentation and we'll watch a couple of videos to kind of give a little history of the future and lead into, or history of the past, and then lead you into the future. And then we'll kind of do a little Q&A at the end. So with that, I will find the share screen button. I will select that there, and I will hit share. And are we good to go? Everybody see that there? I'll go into full screen mode now. All right, perfect. So I wanted to start this afternoon off a little bit and let you kind of know the 3 reasons you and I are sitting here today. The first reason was when I was 15 years old, I came to a very good realization that you have to ask for what you truly want in life. The second reason is throughout your life, you have said the word yes. Yes to being a creative, yes to experimenting and even failing. And you said yes when it comes to taking a risk. Reason 3, your dreams have continued to evolve. And the more you've helped someone else follow their dreams, the more your dreams have come to life. So the reason number 1, I did not actually ask Kim and Nan if I could wake up this Sunday and speak to the Texas Jewish Arts Association. even though I'm very honored to be here. But when I was 15, I asked my mom if she would buy me a 35mm camera. And just like you, what do you think she said? She was kind of smart. She was always trying to teach me a lesson. So she asked me if I knew what the letters N-O spelled. But that moment, or a couple hours after that moment, is when this little life-changing scenario happened for me. She walked right up to me and she asked these dreaded questions that every kid hates to hear. She asked if I would go with her to run some errands. And just like your kids, I'm sure, the next words out of my mouth, I bet, were yes, ma'am. But to my disbelief, we got in the car and she took me straight to the Lubbock South Plains Mall. She walked me straight into a Wolf camera and she bought me this. A beautiful, all black, 35mm Ricoh KR5 Super 2 film camera. And that's when my life changed. Because for the next 20 years of my life, I declared, I defended, and I pursued that I, Joshua King, was the next Ansel Adams. A couple years later, it turned into Richard Avedon. And a couple years after that, it was Walter Ios. Now, obviously, as you're not here today to learn about the amazing photographer that never came to be, Joshua King, I'll get on to the second reason. It was during those 20 years of trying to be an Ansel Adams, I learned that you have to be willing to say yes. You can't be afraid to experiment or to fail, and you must be willing to create project after project after project. Because most of your projects and most of my projects, no one here has ever even heard about. Lots of people who went to the hundreds of exhibitions I've put together or you've been a part of, a lot of people won't even remember them. And some of them, you probably couldn't pay us all the money in the world to do again. But if you're lucky, maybe just one of those projects will change your life. And the first project that changed my life was Rise. It was a 21-page, black and white, self-published coffee table book that I thought was going to write me straight into the history of photography. Though it didn't quite do that for my career, it introduced me to my first mentor, Shane Pennington. And that's when that little second moment in my life changed my future. Because 3 weeks after I asked Shane to be a part of my project, he called me up and invited me to be a part of one of the world's largest technology-based art exhibitions that no one had ever heard of and no one had even been to yet. And that was when I said yes to creating Aurora. I'm going to play a video from 2018 now to give you a glimpse of our 11-year history.
Aurora is the art of light, video, and sound in unexpected spaces. It's a cornerstone event that we created in 2010 and the mission to unite the city behind the arts and culture.
Things called Future World. We wanted to see how people collectively envision the future. It's an invitation for artists and visitors to think about where the world may take us and actively participate in its creation.
I wanted to bring artists from the first generation of media artists to the millennium to talk about the future. They've been thinking of this for several decades, and we learn from their reflection.
We're trying to bring a sense of the unexpected, a bit of chaos. It's like you walked in the central part of town, and the world got flipped upside down, and some strange things are happening. We're taking artwork just off of the canvas and creating new digital ones, which I think is becoming the new norm. In the future, a lot of stuff that we did that would seem so analog will be taken to a new height. We're bringing art to the streets that maybe is going to change the perspective of what art is and how art can communicate.
It's free for everyone to show up here. It's not a museum you have to step into. You don't have to purchase a ticket. Everyone can come out and see art and get excited about it.
You know, if you put something in an art institution of sorts, they might not feel welcome, but if you put it right next to City Hall, that's familiar to people, and they're more willing to experience art when it is available for all.
The artists get better and better each year. The work is stronger and it's edgier and it's waking down stuff, showing that we're more than just like this small arts town. We really are this international hub for people.
People from all over the world have come to present their illumination and art. There's going to be 50, 60, 70,000 people coming down, and it's super exciting.
We already have a fantastic arts district. We got to take it up a notch. Dallas really needs Aurora to unify our city behind one event, and tonight is that event.
Now, it's a little easier to see that the second project that changed my life was Aurora. And as it enters its 11th year in 2021, we've changed the lives of thousands of people by coming together and raising over $5 million in the last 11 years for the vision of expanding the future of arts. And when Shane and I started this little project, that's when I really learned how to spell the word no. Because even today, we hear no all the time. And in 2015, even my second mentor, Emily Corrigan, looked me in the eyes and said the words no. But this time, that little life-changing moment, it just didn't happen. So you have to fast forward with me and with yourself to March of 2020. That month changed the world. And we had to send an email to my second mentor, 50 of our largest donors, and to the entire city of Dallas that we had to cancel the 10th anniversary of Aurora's large-scale biannual event. We didn't know what was going to happen from that moment forward. But 7 months later, we turned to the night of October 1st, 2020. We had canceled our largest event. We had lost over $1.3 million in donations, and we did not know if the future held anything for us after 10 years of work. So what did we do? We doubled down and turned to a larger vision, where together with over 16 of our city's artists, we brought over 20,000 people back to see the arts, where we made art, technology, and our community move forward and still expanded the future of art, even in the middle of a pandemic. I'd like to show you Area 3.
There are times in life when we have to continue to explore the unknown, where what brought us to today will not get us to the same place tomorrow. You have to find the way forward. These times have been uncertain, but we never stopped looking for a way to connect with our community. Dealing with both isolation and separation from each other during these unprecedented times, we have found a new way forward. With Area 3, Aurora brought our community a way to safely immerse themselves in art and culture. Area 3 was a space for 16 artists to create 11 large-scale installations that transformed over 100,000 square feet of a historic 13th floor garage. Aurora is honored to continue to explore and experiment with the artists of Area 3 and to continue our mission to expand the future of art.
It was because of Area 3 that Aurora began to see that we had to evolve into a global mission. Because if we wanted to expand the future of art, we had to continue to experiment, to continue to fail, and to continue to grow. And by Aurora saying yes to experimenting again, we were able to grow into an annual program in the midst of a pandemic. We are no longer just a Dallas biannual. We are looking to grow in and beyond our city and unite the world together behind art and technology. So we did not just stop with Area 3. We started the Aurora Artist Relief Fund, where we are now in the second round of unrestricted $4,000 grants for artists of North Texas. We began searching and finding partnerships, where this month we will partner with Parks for Downtown Dallas and bring you antibodies to one of our city's newest parks, West End Square, or for you to experience from the safety of your own home. In May, we'll present a video and sound installation called Harp and Soul by Jess Garland on the environmental racism surrounding Shingle Mountain in southern Dallas. Then, to end the year, we'll go to New York with 5 Texas artists to project their work onto the side of the Dumbo Bridge as part of our an annual program called Light Year. So, as I sit here in front of you today, I would like to ask you, if you want to continue to experiment and inspire a new generation of artists, explore the meaning of tomorrow, and even expand the future of art, would you reach out to me personally so we can begin a new journey and discuss all the creative possibilities within ourselves and each other? So I would like to conclude today with where I began. First, never be afraid to ask a question, even for help. Second, say yes to as much as possible. Create and know that failing is just a necessary process in life. And third, if you want to follow your dreams, help someone else follow theirs. So thank you very much for inviting me to speak with the Texas Jewish Arts Association today. I do hope someone from today will ask me what they truly want in life, and somehow I can help them find it. Thank you.
That was fantastic. Thank you very much. How do you find the artists to include? Do they come to you? Do you reach out to people?
Great question. It's been an evolution. You know, I love seeing that Gail Saxon has joined. You know, you go all the way back to 2010 when we were begging any artist to be a part of this thing. We organized student shows to start getting, you know, the schools involved. And for the first about 5 years of Aurora, we did an open call where we'd, you know, put up for 30 to 45 days, a call for entry that artists that worked in light, video, and sound to be a part of the exhibition. And I think it was 2013 that Shane and I had to go through like 352 submissions to Aurora. And we were like, that was a hard process. So we started to introduce a curatorial platform where instead of going through 350 applications, we would then ask a curator to bring kind of their vision together. And in 2015, we had 5 curators, and we very quickly learned like that was like having 5 cats. You know, so it's like, you know, it was a great idea, but 5 cats all get along, all, you know, make the thing happen in the same footprint. So we continued to evolve that, and where in 2021, we brought it through a single curatorial vision together. And that is where we're kind of still finding the balance, is working with curators, working with artists, you know.
So, yes, here I am, and I wouldn't miss this for the world. I'm so sorry I was a few minutes late. But Joshua, is this the Joshua I know? My God, where is the hair? Where is the hair? Look at you. You look like a college professor.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Oh my God. Yeah, no, you look absolutely fabulous. And it's just like seeing, what can I tell you? I don't know. It's a meeting a new person, perhaps. You know, I can now see, I sound like a mother, but I can see your broad smile now, you know?
I know. Welcome to my neck.
Yeah,
nobody had met my neck before COVID for the last 10 years because I had a beard down to my chest. And,
oh, they don't know what you look like. Oh,
I'm sure everybody has seen it, but yeah, you know, I still don't have a new updated headshot. So the one they're still using is still, I look like Gandalf the Grey or the White, one of the two.
Yeah, so look at you. I feel like a happy mother. But yeah, we go back even further than that, I think, to the Heritage Village.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And I helped jury the community show there. I loved that. I mean, that was a fabulous exhibit with light projects everywhere on all the buildings and in the interiors as well. That was quite fabulous.
I love that the Heritage Village is where we started this mission. I mean, the dichotomy of going to the past and going to the history of a city and bringing an exhibition that is about the future was that like special moment. That's when we really realized that going to the unexpected places and finding things that were so unique and were not what people were thinking an exhibition should be or what an art program should be really stayed as like one of the foundations in Aurora. And I do hope so much like Aurora's, you know, from the Heritage Village, we went into the Arts District. We had a great year through there where Valletta Forsyth Lill she is the 3rd co-founder of Aurora now because she was the tipping point. Shane and I were 2 artists who knew how to get a bunch of people together, throw a party. Lee Harvey's was our first sponsor. They showed up with a keg of beer and a bar. You know, we didn't really have the official, you know, coup de grace of what an exhibition and what this could be. But Valletta, being a city councilwoman, being the executive director of the arts district, she came to that night, and I know you and her spoke, Gail, and literally she called us into her office like 3 weeks later, and she's like, guys, that was a beautiful night. I think this could really be something for our city, and we could answer these giant questions of like, why does the city of Dallas not have a cornerstone cultural event? Why can't we get something that has roots that started here and grow into the major events that surround our region? And, you know, we were still very naive, and she just kind of pointed to the arts district and she goes, we'd like y'all to do it here. And she's like, I would like to bring you under the umbrella and show you the kind of the format of what a nonprofit is and how we can start building this for a mission and vision. And that was, you know, another tipping point. And Valletta is by all means the third mentor of my life, who just showed me and Shane the capabilities here, you know. And we did it in the arts district, I think 3 exhibitions through there. And then 2018, we really saw that the arts district can't hold more than about 50 to 60,000 people. We really hit our capacity of a 12 block radius. And so we kind of started thinking, well, then what would be next? And as being a free cornerstone event and wanting to make sure that the arts could be approachable to anybody. And I think that's one of the most beautiful things that I see at every Aurora is that, you know, kids to grandparents, they're there. You know, it's family friendly. People who maybe never been to an art exhibition. I've heard so many times people say, we've never been to a museum. We had never gone to a gallery night, but they were like, we don't miss Aurora, you know, and that's really beautiful. And so we moved down to Dallas City Hall, and it was one of these footprints that everybody's like, this won't be a good idea, guys, don't do this. And we heard it over and over. And well, you tell 2 artists don't do something, we do. Just, you know, that's what happens. You know, you can't do that. You'll never get a sponsor. Like, okay, well, that's not why we got into this. You know, and Shane and I, you know, sat over there by the Henry Moore sculpture. We watched the sunset, you know, just standing in the footprint. Nobody was on this giant plaza. And we had the whole skyline of the city of Dallas in front of us. I mean, you could see from east to west, from Reunion to the Omni to every major skyscraper here. And I was just like, this is the footprint for our exhibition. And so we moved down there in 2018. And it was one of what I still think is one of our best decisions. It was so hard to leave the arts district. All the giant cultural organizations are there, all the museums, you know, and, you know, that's any artist's dream is to collaborate with these giant institutions. But we really had to say, this is for the people, and we want this to be able to continue to grow. And it was just amazing. I went to downtown Dallas's luncheon 2 weeks ago. And they walked through all the development that is happening in Southern Dallas. And it just blew my mind of what's really could be our future of Southern Dallas here, and how we could connect Aurora back over 30 into the Heritage Village, and how we can start continuing to grow through other sectors of the city, go back into the arts district. You know, there's just so many capabilities right now in Dallas that we're still just amazed that 11 years later, we're still doing this, guys. It's crazy.
So this afternoon, I'm actually going to take pictures of West End Park.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Driven by knowing Aurora has a project going on there.
No, that was a big part. You know, the biennial right now is in a very kind of like static space due to the pandemic. You know, large scale gatherings are very complicated, especially nonprofit fundraising for large scale gatherings is very complicated right now and a very large struggle. So looking to that vision and saying, art and technology doesn't just have to be for our region. It doesn't just have to be a biennial for North Texas, you know? And so an annual program and growing our mission was the natural evolution that we kind of had already. What was great is like, I had a 10-year kind of like vision packet together that Shane and I hit print in February of 2020. Right. And, you know, it kind of laid out our priorities. How do we want to continue to grow the exhibition into an annual program over the next couple of years? And by March 2020, the thing was like almost in the trash, you know, and like I was about ready to throw it away. And I kind of looked through it and I was like, this isn't completely, you know, worthless. We just need to put the biennial to the side for the moment right now until the pandemic is really understood. But we need to start growing into that annual program right now, you know? And so it's like page 1 and 2 went to 7 and 8, and page 3 became page 1. And so partnerships became a big one, you know, going to West End Square, bringing in an art installation there, which will be in the park for 10 days. And then it's already live right now. It was made by an artist named Daniel Uruguay out of Montreal in the time of COVID. And it was made for this endless amount of Zoom calls that we're on right now, right? It's like we don't have the physical body of being with each other. So we're missing this emotional connection of human interaction, antibodies, hence the title, where it's a facial recognition software where it'll continually build like this never-ending Zoom call, you know? And so it's a really cool installation. I do recommend going to the site before you go see it, so you'll kind of already be engaged with it. And once you're engaged with it, you keep growing. So the piece never stops. You know, every time somebody interacts with it, it actually kind of changes. It actually changes. You know, so that's what we started looking for. And, you know, we're gonna like Lightyear. Lightyear was a project that the research, the artists that we projected onto the Wiley in 2013 and 2015, they created Lightyear in New York. And it was great when, you know, you have a relationship from almost 10 years ago, reach back out to you and say, hey guys, we created this project in New York that we would love you to be a part of now. You know, we're like, that's why we do this, guys. Absolutely. So being able to curate 5 artists, take them to New York, exhibit their work on the side of the Dumbo Bridge is great. You know, it's like, those are the little things we're looking for. And we have several other ones that we've been doing for quite a bit right now as well that hopefully we'll be telling a lot of people about really soon.
Tell us what you have coming up for Fort Worth and when.
Yes, so Fort Worth is an amazing project. Shane and I were asked several years to help with an iconic artwork project for the city of Fort Worth. The city had chosen Pioneer Tower as one of their first locations. And we said, guys, this building is just beautiful. And it had been a part of a revitalization project. They have completely redone the whole tower right now. So it is just spotless. And we brought in Dune Choi, a curator from Aurora 2015. And we asked for her to bring 2 proposals to the city of Fort Worth. And they put Rafik Anadol and Davide Quayala to do these 2, which will actually be 3 installations. And so this will be a 4-sided projection on Pioneer Tower. And that will be August 20th and 21st. So that'll be a big project. There's a lot more in that works right now that we're not quite ready to go public with, but it is coming soon. But yeah, I'm real excited to see us move into other cities. I think that is a key catalyst for what's next. I think there's been nothing more evident right now that technology and that culture is, leaning on technology for survival. It really is. And I'm sure we've all might have heard of the NFT that just sold by an artist named Beeple for $69 million last week at Christie's. So it's gonna get crazy, as the arts always do. But it's really great to see art and technology becoming a norm and becoming accepted. I think that was a big part of people understand, and it's not even accepted, it's really understood as well.
Anybody else have more questions?
Well, I always do, but
Go right ahead.
I don't want to keep you all too long, but and Josh as well. But so, what about UTD? Obviously, that's a marriage that you need to be involved in.
No, I think that educational component and the universities is the next giant one, and UTD is absolutely one of those paths that we want to cross. So I think that it's all just at the right amount of time, and when's it great for everyone. But yeah, that is definitely, Gail, the thing of us to look at for is like, how can we
that is the mecca of art and technology. Yeah. So I guess you need to get one of them on your board, right?
Yeah, and that's kind of the great evolution, right? Is like we've been working on the biannual for 10 years and really going on how do we sustain a cultural project here, which is a giant, difficult task for Dallas. Now that we're looking into the annual programs, it's like, how do we make sure that there's something happening every month, every quarter, and how does this keep growing here in our city and beyond?
And one other question. For the exhibit at the West End Park, did you infer that people from their homes on their own computers could activate that exhibit and you didn't just have to be at the park?
Yeah, so we made it. I mean, we're still in these very, confusing times. Some people are not afraid to go out at all. So, I mean, I live right here by Bishop Arts. I can open up my window and hear a whole party going on over there in jazz and all sorts of things at the bars. And it's crazy. But, my wife and I aren't even going to restaurants. So everybody's in this different, situation of comfortability right now. So there is no just making artwork to go experience at one location. So we wanted to make sure that it could be seen online and interacted with from the safety of people's own homes, or they could go to the park. So aurora.antibodies.webcam is the installation. And then you can also go to just Dallas Aurora's website and we'll send you there as well.
So, and there's no dash in between antibodies, it's one word?
One word. Aurora.antibodies.webcam.
Great.
You have a link from the Aurora website?
Mm-hmm. Okay. Dallas Aurora will take you there as well, give you all the back history of the Artist Relief Fund, antibodies as well.
So one of the years, Josh, you when you were down in the Arts District that I attended, you brought in like Booker T. Washington and brought students into the mix. Will you try and continue to cultivate that?
Yeah, I mean, that's how I really met Gail, and one of the first collaborations is she juried a student exhibition. And I remember the recipient of that exhibition got a mentorship with Albert Sherbarth, You know, I'm not sure who won on that more than anybody, but I remember, you know, having an artist fresh out of college being able to go work with Albert's studio. And, you know, it was a really great kind of collaboration. And Gail, I remember us sitting there and you looking at the piece and going, I don't know which one to choose. I was like, choose both. You know, there's no rules here. We really didn't have. But I think the educational component is a really big one. The student exhibition is a key pillar for us. I believe, you know, that in the arts, you have to teach students about the business of the arts, and that you have to teach them about what is a proposal, what is a timeline, what is a budget. You know, I graduated from the University of North Texas. I loved getting my Bachelor of Fine Arts in photography, but I stepped out of that university without one bit of how to run a company or a business or submit a proposal. You know, so when we work with Booker T. Washington, we still work with the Winston School. We've got a couple other educational programs that are kind of being built right now. They're just on different capacities. It is all about teaching students to be an artist today. It is all about fill out the proposal, learn. I don't start by like, what do you want to create? I ask you, why do you want to create it? And then here's, you know, a spreadsheet, you know, because that's really 90% of being an artist is the administration of understanding this is how I will be able to sustain and thrive as an artist, you know. So that's what we did with Washington. Every one of them was a proposal that they submitted to Aurora. You know, they learned about the materials, the install, deinstall, power, all these like logistical questions that aren't fun. Nobody likes to talk about them, but you know, you have to know how to answer these before you get on site and before you try to install something that could go really, really wrong.
So speaking about Booker T, I've been on the board for many, many years, and you do know, do you not, that there's an arts council now that we formed a few years ago for the art nonprofits in town. Mm-hmm. And if you're not part of that, you really, a mother again, you really should.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm not a part of it. I do know very much about it. It's just one of those things of like, all right, let's get this and this and this to-do list together. Absolutely. But no, I think that's the greatest thing about, you know, what's happening right now is there's a lot of collaboration going on. And there's a lot of people that are looking to help each other thrive. You know, I think there was a huge turnover in our city around 2015 that brought a lot of our institutions together, brought a lot of our cultural organizations together. And I think that this moment in our history has even kind of solidified it a little more and making sure that we all need each other to keep growing from here.
How did you collaborate with New York to get the project together?
Again, it was keeping a relationship. I mean, Leo and John, I talk to Leo probably twice a year. John, who's the other artist in that, Shane's good friends with, so we continue on our relationships. And I think that's a big part of life, right? Is like making sure if you work with somebody and it was a good project, you know, it's like continue working with those people, right? You know, it's like that's a really good deal. Like last week, you know, I met Shane because I asked him to be a part of a photography project, you know, and until for the last several years, I've photographed a lot of Shane's artwork. It hasn't happened very much in the last year or two, just because there's another photographer. You know, we've just been really, really busy. Anyway, Shane asked me last week, hey, I've got a couple of pieces I need photographed. Will you come, you know, help me out with this? And you know, we're going throughout the day, we're photographing it, and we start talking to a couple of his clients, and all of a sudden we're like, got a whole nother project going, you know? And so it's collaboration, and it's like keeping the relationships that you formed alive. I mean, it can't be more important than anything in the arts besides knowing how to do a budget, making sure that you keep a relationship alive and you stay, you know, very much of like, the third reason, help somebody else with their dreams. I mean, really call in and ask, how can I help? That's super important.
So my husband Richard just came home. I want him to see what you look like. That's Josh.
Hi guys, Richard.
Hey, Sarah, good to see you.
Yeah,
how are you?
it's cool, huh? Yeah.
I'm great.
All right. A little intimacy here.
Okay.
I know.
Yeah.
Well,
Good to see you.
This is so much easier. I wake up every day. I can put a hat on. I can take a hat off. It doesn't matter. I look the same.
Yeah, I love it. Well, I have to go. This was super great. Thank you. Thank you, Nan, for putting this together. Thank you, Josh, and everybody else on the call.
Yeah. Thank you, Kim, for putting this together. Thank you, Joshua, very, very much for being here. This was enlightening and really exciting to have you on. Thank you.
So much. Appreciate it.
And coming
Say
up,
hi to Shane for all of us as well.
Absolutely.
yeah, I don't know if Shane would remember me, but tell him hello for me. I haven't seen him in years. Last time I saw him was at a Texas Sculpture Association show. I can't even remember where it was.
Well, that is one of the best things about Shane is like he's got a great memory of people and he's the most sincere individual I've ever known. So
I
I'm
really
sure
liked him. Well, tell him hello for me, please.
All right.
Okay, coming up next month is a tour of TCU Art Gallery on April something. What's the date? What's the date? It is April 11th. Okay, so I hope to see everybody then. And thank you all so much.
Thank you all for joining me.
Bye, guys. Happy Sunday.
Bye. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.